واحد اثنين ثلاثة. تست.
Hello and welcome to Double Jump. I'm your host Yaqoub, and joining me today is my co-host Patrick.
Hello.
And my other co-host, Vishu.
Hello, everyone.
How are you guys?
The co-host.
Yeah, the co-hosts. We're all captains here in this ship. This hopefully not sinking ship. I think this episode got cancelled and rescheduled more than Final Fantasy 15 at this point.
Yeah, but I feel like this new setup that we have is going to suit us much better.
I hope so, because what's changing this time is that we're not recording physically together like we usually do. We're doing this over the interwebs. And I hope audio quality is up to par, up to snuff, because I think every one of us is using a different microphone at the moment. We're going to test the grounds, test the waters, and see just the grounds or waters, just test something and see how it goes. And then hopefully at some point we're gonna streamline this process and it'll be much easier to deal with in the future. So okay, let's get the show rolling.
Let's go.
We're gonna talk about some video games that we've been playing recently, some old, some new. We're gonna be covering some of the important news that, well, it's pretty important for us at least at the moment, and we're going to be talking about rounding off with all the NX rumors, the Nintendo NX rumors that are pretty tasty these days.
Yeah.
So, Patrick, you're going to talk about Firewatch. What is this game, and why should I play it?
All right. So, well, I don't know if you should play it actually.
Actually, I've been having I've been keeping my eye on the game. I think I have it on my Steam wish list or something. So
right.
I just want more I need more clarification on what kind of game it is, because I kind of get the feel that it might be another Gone Home.
Yeah. So
which I also didn't play, by the way.
Oh well, okay. I've played Gone Home, and I thought Gone Home was. I really liked Gone Home, to be honest, and. Even though, I mean, there wasn't really any challenge to the game, the story itself was, immersive. The visuals and the sound was immersive. So
right.
Firewatch is similar to that in the sense that you're solving very basic puzzles, and the focus is the narrative, and it's the visual experience of the game, how the game looks, how the game sounds, and the game is very hit and miss for me. Like visually, I love the game. The sound design and the music and all that I loved, but when it came to the story, it felt like it was building up to something, and then at the end it fell flat on its face. Basically, I didn't like the ending. I understand why they took that route with the ending. Thinking back on it, I know why they made those decisions, but I really didn't end up enjoying the game at the very end. But I mean, it's one of those games where I was enjoying it, and then there was a build up. I was loving it. I was solving mysteries. I was figuring stuff out, and it was really, really gripping. And then once you get to the climax and you get to the finale, it was just okay.
So it was pretty underwhelming in a sense that. Being a game that narrative is pretty important. Okay, so what I understand here is that there's some puzzle solving and
some very basic puzzles.
Puzzle solving, and you're walking in a very linear path, or is there any kind of branching paths that you can take that could change or affect the narrative?
No, it's pretty linear.
Straightforward.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward and linear. The game does give you some options for branching paths in terms of the narrative, but not in terms of exploring. But I'm not sure how much of a difference it does to the narrative. It seems a lot like the Telltale games. You make choices in those games, but ultimately your choices are very superficial. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, okay. Well, superficial is not really the kind of word that you would associate with a Telltale game. From my experience, like
I mean,
some
I
of the
played-
stuff, some of the like the decisions that you make in like the Walking Dead are pretty like drastic. But
I mean, yeah, but at the end, like when you, for instance, there are some choices you make in the Walking Dead game where one person dies, the other person survives. But ultimately, when you make that decision, it doesn't really change the narrative. Like at the very end of the game, the same thing's gonna happen. You know?
oh, okay,
you know
okay.
what I mean?
I understand. I understand what you mean right now.
Yeah.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it makes a difference in that moment, but when you look at the narrative as a collective, like as a whole, it doesn't really make a big difference. You know?
So, what is this game about? Like, okay, we all know
So
like
Firewatch.
yeah.
Are you like living a story and that's it?
I mean,
like,
what's the background that really pulls the like what grips you from the beginning? Like, okay, what I understand, like from what I've seen, from what limited stuff that I've seen about the game, is that you're a firefighter or something.
No, you're not a firefighter. You're like a forest ranger who.
Oh yeah,
for fires.
Yeah, okay,
You're
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if there's a fire, you're the first one that reports it, basically.
Oh, I see.
And and you build a relationship with another Firewatch employee who's a female character, and she has a really interesting backstory, and basically the entire game revolves around your relationship with her and a mystery that's part of the environment that you're exploring. I can't really say more than that because it's going to be kind of spoilerish. And even though the game's been out for a while, I don't want to.
These kind of games are really tough to talk about because it's like you can't talk about like the story stuff since it's basically story. Yeah, but it's nice to have like a background on like where you're getting yourself into.
Yeah. I mean, let me put it this way. Like, honestly, I would recommend Firewatch in terms of how it sets up the story. Like the way it sets up the story is fantastic. You know, it's just the ending that really like where the game falters. The problem is the game is about it costs $20 and the game's like shorter than 3 hours. So you have to keep that in mind when you're getting the game.
Wow, really? Less than 3 hours?
Yeah, less than 3 hours. If I had to choose between Firewatch and Going Home, like Going Home is way better. Like Going Home is one of my favorite games, to be honest. So
Gone Home.
Like Gone Home. Yeah. What did I say?
Going Home.
Oh.
But yeah, we get it. Yeah. We get it. I'm just being picky. I'm just getting nitpicky.
So Gone Home. Sorry, my cats are distracting me. I'll just blame it on them.
It's all right.
So Gone Home. I really loved Gone Home, and so I'm into these kind of games, and I was really looking forward to Firewatch, but it's like I would have a hard time recommending this for someone else.
I see. So getting on a sale probably would be a easier sell in that case. It's much better to stomach it that way.
I mean, if we're giving games ratings, I would give it like maybe a 3 out of 5. You know, like a 7 out of 10, like something like that.
All right, that's decent.
Yeah.
So next on the agenda is ABZU. I have that purchased as well, and then I'm trying to find like from what impressions I've been hearing is that it's basically underwater journey, and it's recommended like how you'd usually recommend Journey is that you'd play it all the way through from beginning to end, since it's one of the shorter ended games. You've been through it, Patrick. Have you beaten it?
Yeah, I've beaten it.
So
I've beaten it twice.
What do you think of it?
I adore ABZU.
I think
like ABZU.
I think all three of us have played Journey, right, Bishu?
Yeah, I played Journey.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't want to say I don't like it, but it's pointless. I prefer watching like.
That is harsh.
But what can I say? That's my opinion.
I mean,
Nothing wrong with it.
I mean, like, okay, I think what you mean is like it's pointless for you to play it. It'd be more enjoyable for you to watch it, right? Or watch someone go through it.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I don't want to like waste like 3-4 hours just to see something pretty, you know.
You want more than just.
If it's watchable. Yeah, I don't want
pretty,
just
but-
to walk or to.
Yeah.
Then don't play
I'm just gonna
Firewatch.
say, like, it's yeah, pretty much. Like Journey, like it's the reason why I think saying it's pointless is harsh is because I guess I have some sort of emotional attachment to Journey. Like when I played Journey, it literally like played with my emotions. Like near the end, like I wouldn't say it made me tear up, but like it nearly got to that point. Like I was really affected by the game and by what you were doing in the game. Like the music was amazing, and you know, it's as a package, it's a great game. Like it's fantastic. But I mean, again, like
I'm in the same camp.
I didn't say it's like I'm looking at a picture. You know, it's very fantastic when it comes to like the final game you saw and play. It was like beautiful. You know, I appreciate it. You know, in the game, but not in a way to say like it's a full. It's an experience.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
I agree.
I'm starting to get like by the time I'm getting like older and older, I'm starting to get like more picky with my games, you know, and Journey, like ABZU and Journey, they're good games, but not my style.
Yeah,
or my
it's definitely
games to prefer. Yeah.
It speaks to a certain crowd, I guess.
That's what I want to say.
So Patrick, for ABZU, like, okay, what I know is that is like the person who worked on the art, like I think the art director of Journey is the person behind ABZU, as well as like Austin Wintory being the composer for Journey, also composing for ABZU.
Fantastic composer.
So how? Okay. Let's discuss ABZU as disconnected as possible from Journey, so that we can like make give a fair analysis of ABZU and
to be honest, I feel like the comparison is slightly unfair. Like it's on the surface, okay, they are similar, and you know they do share some connections.
Yeah, that's why I said let's disconnect Journey from the conversation and see like what ABZU like. Let's talk about its merits in this case.
All right, so. The first thing I noticed about ABZU and what I adored was it. First of all, if no one knows, ABZU is a game that takes place underwater, and you're like this character that can. You're human, but you seem not really human. Like you're humanoid. I think your character is kind of robotic, actually, like a machine.
Aren't you like a scuba diver, like a scuba diver or something?
No.
Okay.
You're not a person. You're definitely like a machine or some kind of.
You're
humanoid.
something. That's humanoid. Okay.
So you don't have to. Sorry, you don't have to continuously go up for air and stuff like that. You can stay underwater indefinitely.
All right.
So the first thing I noticed when I started playing ABZU was your character controls amazing. Like it's been a while since I've played a game where the character controls so well. Swimming.
Wait, you're talking about a swimming game, right?
Yeah.
So basically, this is Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I don't remember Echo the Dolphin was controlling good.
No.
I was making a joke.
I mean, it depends which Echo the Dolphin we're talking about.
Yeah, I was thinking.
2D ones or a Dreamcast one?
No. The Dreamcast one doesn't exist in my book. I'm talking about the Genesis ones.
Yeah. I mean, okay, look. Let me put it this way. You guys remember the underwater segments of Monster Hunter?
Oh no! Okay. Please no! Oh no! No!
This is wait. Hold on. This is as opposite of that as you can get.
All right. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah. No. Like it's amazing. Like
Because the first thing that came to mind was like fighting a Lagiacrus right now.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I don't think there's a game that has underwater segments that controls as well as ABZU. Like usually when you think about underwater levels, you think like your character's kind of heavy.
It's basically the crappiest part of any game. Like pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. But in ABZU, it's amazing. It's like I'm like it's really just great. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. Like whatever positive word you can think about, that's what swimming in ABZU is.
All right. So you basically are you guided through the game? Like, is there any way to know what you're doing, or is it like ambiguous and like okay?
The game is designed. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the way the game is designed is like really smartly. Like it's intelligent. So the game is pretty linear, but the environments are huge, and it might seem overwhelming at first, but the game gives you slight hints. Like it doesn't give you an arrow and it's like go this way. Like it's nothing like that. But there's little cues in the environment that like
check this place out.
Yeah, like little bright lights, or a path on the ocean floor.
A group of fish making an arrow.
No. It's not like Crazy Taxi, I suppose.
And
the Pizza Hut sign.
So little cues like that.
We have pizza here.
Fish pizza.
Yeah. Oh, that's disgusting. Yeah. So
anchovies, man.
No, not a big fan.
Yeah. No, neither am I.
So the environments are designed in a way where they try to push you to go into a certain direction, and even if you decide to go off the beaten path, you'll find secrets. There are collectibles in the game. There aren't many invisible walls. The way the environment is designed is like they close you off from the rest of the environment in a really smart way. It's not done in a really like abrupt or ugly way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I understand.
And the music is spectacular. Like I feel like the music is better than the music in Journey.
Yeah, Austin Wintory just keeps one-upping himself every time he works on a game.
So good.
He's really good.
He's
yeah,
underrated. He's still underrated. Like he doesn't have that many followers on Twitter, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but his work is like amazing. I loved his compositions, like especially like I never thought of him like doing music for like Assassin's Creed, but he still has his connections to the more simplistic, more shorter experiences, stuff that are like like Journey, like ABZU, that have that really focus on art to like portray the idea that they're trying to they're trying to show the player. Like okay, in games like Journey and ABZU, you have to rely on art and rely on audio to like enthrall the player, like to give them the sense of awe that these games are set out to do. And I think Austin,
it's very meditative. It's very relaxing. It's very laid back. I mean, like Bisho said, he wasn't wrong when he said it's an experience. And like I like some gamers would think that's a negative thing. I'm not. I don't think that's true. Like I really enjoyed these kinds of experiences, and they have their they have their part in the gaming like world. Like we need these experiences because like we're so oversaturated with AAA games and first person shooters or open world games that these small like perfectly sculptured games give it's like a breath of fresh air basically.
Yeah, I think
Sorry,
go ahead Bishu.
Okay, I just want to say it's like reading a book. Like it's like living an experience outside of the 30 hours, 40 hours games. You have to
pretty much.
It's a palate cleanser. It's a palate cleanser, basically.
Yeah.
So if you're
Yeah,
like
that's
after
perfect.
playing like 5 hours of Doom or like some other game that is totally like different in scope and in theme, you just go play ABZU for a couple of hours, get it done, and change your mood. It helps. I think these games have a future with VR, really, because
I mean, yeah. I mean, look.
it has potential, I think.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't wanna praise ABZU more than I already have, but I mean, there hasn't been many games where, like, okay, you know how when we were talking about Journey, I said it didn't really drive me to tears, but I was close.
Yeah.
ABZU drove me to tears. Like there was a
Oh.
part in ABZU where I was playing and I was so awed and so like mesmerized by what was happening on screen that like it just it was amazing. Like it was really breathtaking. The music, the way the music like kicks in during certain set pieces in the game, it was very effective, and it's one of the few games that's drove me to tears, like not bawling, but tears, and made me like smile at the same time. It was just, it's a great experience. I really really enjoyed it.
All right, so we'll put your. I'll take your word for it. Basically, right on the like the back of the box, drove Patrick to tears. Play the game. But yeah, I mean, it sounds fantastic. I'm definitely gonna play it soon. I'm trying to get a few games done and trying to find like the good 2 hours, solid 2 hours to get through it like in one going.
You don't have to like look. The difference between ABZU and Journey is like, or even Firewatch. Journey and Firewatch, I would recommend you play in one sit through.
One sitting, yeah.
One sitting. ABZU, it took me like maybe 2 sittings or 3, like just to play through it, and it was fine that way. It's not a long game. It's maybe like 3 to 4 hours, maybe even shorter, depending on if you decide to explore or whatever. But the perfect time to play ABZU that I found was right after you come home from work, and you're just like stressed out from the day and whatever, and you just sit back and you play ABZU, or like early in the morning on the weekends. It's such a chill game. I really really loved it.
Does it have like a replay value on it?
No. I mean, there's some collectibles. There are collectibles. There's actually 2 kind of collectibles, but nothing really to drive you to play the game again. But it's something I would want to experience, like maybe a couple
Once
of
in a
times.
while,
Yeah, like a couple of times throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
And like another reason why there's no replay value is the game doesn't even have a platinum trophy. It has like gold trophies, it has silver trophies.
Yeah,
and
not
bronze,
all
but no
games on
platinum.
PSN have platinum, so
Yeah,
it's like nothing strange, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a shot. I got it on Steam, and
Maybe I will try it too when it gets like very cheap.
On discount.
yeah,
Yeah,
these kind of games, like if you know for sure that they're not like 100% for you, then yeah, just wait for a sale, and it wouldn't like it'll soften the blow at least.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the next game. I want to talk about
Mirage?
Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp FE. The game's out on the Wii U. It's been out for a while. I think all 3 of us have played it at this point. So this game is developed by Atlus, and it's a collaboration between Atlus and Nintendo to like bring together the Shin Megami Tensei franchise along with the Fire Emblem franchise. Back when it was first announced, it was unclear how they're going to go ahead and do that, but now that the game's out, we can explain really quick. It's basically Persona, in a sense that
not Persona.
Not Persona, but
Shin
it's
Megami Tensei.
no. I mean, design-wise, it feels like Persona for me, with elements of Fire Emblem like sprinkled above that.
Patrick, why do you say it's more like Shin Megami more than Persona? Because I didn't play Shin Megami. I only played Persona, and I see it like Jacob. It's very similar to Persona. What do you think? It's have more like Shin Megami more than Persona?
I mean, like at the end of the day, Persona is a branch of Shin Megami
Exactly.
Tensei,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, when I said Persona, I meant it like aesthetically and some gameplay stuff as well. So.
To be honest, Tokyo Mirage is more like Persona than it is Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
Usually, the dungeons in Shin Megami Tensei are a bit more complex.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still linear, but they're not corridors, you know. And it was kind of disappointing that Tokyo Mirage went the route of Persona, because that was one of the flaws that I found in Persona 4, and it's one of the big reasons why I couldn't enjoy the game actually.
Yeah, dungeons in Tokyo Mirage Sessions are pretty simplistic. There are some like gimmicks in each dungeon that I've seen so far. I think I've been through 4 so far.
Yeah.
There are some gimmicks.
Yeah, the gimmicks do help. I enjoyed those gimmicks.
Yeah, they're all right, but the design of the dungeons are not that interesting.
No, not at all.
They are very, again, like Persona. The good thing about this game is the characters. Like before buying the game, I've been like restraining myself from picking it up blindly because I'm not a huge fan of the J-pop thingy. I like J-rock. Don't get me wrong. Like I love Japanese culture, but there are like certain things like J-pop and stuff like that. I'm not like idol culture that I'm not really that into.
Imagine playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions in front of your wife and trying to explain to her what it is.
I've done that.
That's what happened. It happened to me, and I was just like, I'm not really into J-pop, but
it happened, and she didn't care, to be honest. But yeah, the thing is, I don't really like that part of Japanese culture, the J-pop stuff, the idol stuff. But the way that they integrated that stuff into the game is fantastic. It did not bother me at all. They didn't like.
It was great, by the way. It was damn catchy.
Yeah, the music's alright. I mean, soundtrack is decent. It's not like Persona's soundtrack, but it's decent. It didn't bother me. Yeah. The characters actually are pretty interesting. And they remain to be interesting. Like they're not like boring characters like with no personality. No, they have a lot of things going for them. Like there are some side quests that you do in between chapters, and these side quests you get to know the characters a little bit more, and they're really funny sometimes. Like one of the characters in the game, you have to like go and he says let's meet together at the rooftop of this building, and you go there and it's like, dude, I need to like lift up, like become more charismatic for this show that I'm trying to pull off, and in order to get better at my show and like have more charisma, let's go pick up girls. It'll make me more charismatic, hopefully. So you go and try to hit on girls. It has this kind of stuff, you know. Which is what I think is one of the great things about Persona that they are trying to portray in this game. The characters are pretty cool. Battle system is really interesting. I like the way that you can chain attacks together depending on the weakness of the enemy. It's something that is done, I think, similar to Persona, and I think Fire Emblem has some of those elements as well, right? Where you can chain attacks, Shin Megami Tensei. So it's a really nice balance, and the way they integrated like Shin Megami Tensei into the game is like they use audio cues from not Shin Megami Tensei. I meant like Fire Emblem. They use some audio cues from that. They use some character stuff from that. I don't want to get really like.
The combat specifically is very similar to Fire Emblem in the sense of the weaknesses and the strengths are, I think, straight from Fire Emblem.
Yeah, but the spells and the name of the spells and the abilities are straight from Shin Megami Tensei or Persona.
And Shin Megami,
But there are like crossover stuff.
Yeah, like if you have the Lancer character can do more damage against enemies that are riding on horses, for instance, that's from Fire Emblem.
Exactly. It's these touches they sprinkle it ever so slightly, and it doesn't like get in the way. Like it doesn't change what the game is trying to do, which is be a Japanese RPG that is fun. I think really colorful, very interesting. I mean, so far I haven't gotten bored a single time. The way you progress through this game, like the way you level up your characters, the way you learn abilities is fantastic. Like every single level, you're learning stuff. Your characters level up their weapons, and every time you level up a weapon and you master it, you can change to another. You can make another weapon and then level that up. And every time your weapon level is up, you unlock an ability. You keep growing at a very, very, very fast pace, and you actually feel the difference, which is really, really good. And yeah, so far, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I like the social media aspect of the game, although I'm not a fan of how they implemented it with the gamepad, because I have to keep looking down away from the screen. But it's interesting. I mean, I've never seen like a Twitter wannabe sort of thing done in a game like this. And yeah, I think generally it's worth giving it a look if you're into Japanese RPGs and you have a Wii U just collecting dust. Yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, that's all I have to say about the game.
I mean, you pretty much mirrored my thoughts. You know, like I love the fighting system, the mechanics, and I love the characters. I love the way your characters' abilities improve and your skills. Like it constantly feels like you're progressing through the game, even if you're not. You know, as long as you're leveling up, you're crafting new weapons and stuff. It's the way they implemented it is very well done. Story is interesting, characters are interesting. There is a good mix of humor, a good mix of serious, dramatic stuff. So yeah, like I would also recommend this for anyone who enjoys RPGs.
Yeah, there's something very special about this game. It's that it's encourage you to like use your special moves. Other games, usually when you play RPGs, you usually like save all your mana, save your items for the time of need, or a boss battle. But in this game, I found it very, very encouraging. It tells you use your moves. You'll fight better. You will finish the fight more faster, and you will get stronger with time. Don't worry about your mana. There will always be a place where you can go out and refill your HP and mana again. This is very fantastic.
Yeah, this is something really cool. Like you can get in and out of dungeons really fast.
Yeah, and I mean, what Bisho is saying is very accurate because you have abilities that also encourage you to use mana because they refresh your mana like every turn. You get like 3 or 4 mana points when the turn ends or something like that. So like, you're always encouraged to use your abilities.
Like even when you run out of mana, you always can use like the mana replenishing items and they replenish a lot back. So it's never slow. It's never cumbersome. I enjoy this game a lot, and I think like anyone who has a Wii U and the time, and also because it's a pretty long game. And also, like, our fans, a fan of JRPGs and waiting for Persona 5, this is a really, really, really good game to get into.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah, highly recommended. Give it a shot, guys. So next up is a game that also all three of us have played, Monster Hunter Generations.
Or Monster Hunter, the greatest hits.
Yeah, exactly, greatest hits. It's exactly that. I mean, the game's out on 3DS. It has online multiplayer, local multiplayer, like the usual stuff. But what is different in this game that comparing it to Monster Hunter 4?
Are you asking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretending. I'm pretending like I'm feigning. I'm feigning ignorance so that I can make this interesting.
Bisho, you want to take this?
No, you take it because I'm a little stuck in here in one of the stages in Super Meat Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You're playing while we're talking.
Yeah, because we're doing a video version of this podcast as well, so it's gonna have Bishu sucking at Super Meat Boy while we're recording. Anyways, so Monster Hunter Generations. Yeah. Okay. Patrick, why should I play this?
Yeah, so what differentiates Monster Hunter Generations from Monster Hunter 4 and all the other previous Monster Hunters is Actually, I think like two main things. The first thing is that the game features a category of special moves called hunting arts, which basically turns. I mean, it doesn't make the game more of an action game. It still has its slow bits where you have to, be strategic in your moves and how you dodge and how you attack stuff.
Dude, it's basically super moves.
Yeah, they're super moves, but
Yeah.
I mean, like when you're not doing super moves, you're still
playing Monster
moving
Hunter,
slowly. Yeah, you're still playing Monster Hunter. It's not like you're all of a sudden playing Bayonetta or Devil May Cry or something.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It's
it
still
does.
the same game with extra moves.
Yeah, it does speed things along. Like I've beaten monsters pretty fast because of my hunting arts.
No, I think it's. I think because the game is much easier. I don't think the art's making like this much
I
big
feel
difference.
This
feel
is
like
something
we're
I agree.
experienced.
Yeah, this is something I agree with Bishu here. It's. I think I feel like this game's a bit easier than the past iterations.
You guys don't think you feel that way because you put hundreds of hours in Monster Hunter 4?
No, of course, this is a factor. I'm not dismissing this,
Yeah.
but also
Yeah.
I think the way they designed combat in this version, it makes certain combinations of weapons very, very much more effective than what it used to be in Monster Hunter 4. Like for example, because there are styles now. Like outside of like hunter arts, which are like super moves, you can pick a style. Like every weapon now has an option. Like you can pick between 4 styles. So, for example, this game made me actually play Greatsword for the first time ever in a Monster Hunter game, like personally. So,
And let me
because
guess, you're Ariel.
of course. So what Patrick meant here is that there are 4 styles. One of them is aerial, which is basically focused. It focuses your gameplay and your attacks for like design. It's designed for jumping. Basically, your roll changes to a jump. If you try to roll towards an enemy and you hit you touch the enemy, you jump on that enemy, and in the air, certain weapons get certain attributes for that style that you usually can't do in others. You can also have the guild style, which is, it really just mimics the original style of the weapon, like the original Monster Hunter style that you're used to in previous games.
The guild is for ultimate style.
Yeah, it's for ultimate basically.
Yeah.
You have also the striker style, which is basically, it strips away some moves that there are some abilities that some of the weapons have, and gives you three super moves that you can activate separately.
It's if I'm not mistaken, Hamid told me it's from the second generation, from the PSP version style.
Sort of, but you actually get 3 super moves instead of like 1, which is like the other styles have. And then the last one is Bushido. Is the Japanese version is called Bushido. I think here it's called Adept.
style.
Yeah, Adept style. The Adept style is more like focused on evading and timing your evades and reacting to your enemy, and it's pretty tricky and cool as well. And I think some combinations of weapons, like for example the switch axe, giving it like the area style makes it super effective and really much easier to play. Even Greatsword, like Greatsword, you're just jumping around, charging your Greatsword while in the air is much easier to charge while you're standing still on the ground. It makes the game easier in a sense, like it makes you more effective. It doesn't make the game easier; it just makes you super effective. And I think it translates.
By the way, I actually do think the game is a bit easier because I used to hate fighting the Kazoo, whatever it's called. In Generations, he seems to be much easier. I
think it's because of how you're tackling the fight now that you have more
maybe.
more options. Like seriously, it made so much more sense to me when I played Greatsword Aerial. It doesn't make sense because you're swinging a really heavy weapon, but with aerial style, it doesn't feel that way, because you can just continuously like jump on a monster and just wail at it with like level 3 charges. stuff that you can't usually do on normal great swords and different and like past games. So it makes the game feel easier and it makes you more effective. It's probably going to be really tough for people who are still like first timers playing this game, but it makes experienced players super effective compared to like the older games. I mean, this is the way I see it. I don't know if you guys agree, but yeah. And also it's really cool because you get to see all the monsters from the previous games. Or most monsters from previous games.
I feel like for new players, it's actually, I mean, I still think Monster Hunter 4 is the best Monster Hunter to get into if you're new. But Monster Hunter Generations has a bunch of, I was going to say interesting, but they're not interesting. But they have a lot of useful tutorials,
Yeah.
So if you're a new player, like I feel like it's also a good entry point. So I feel like it's not as overwhelming as playing Monster Hunter 3, for instance.
They get a little better every game they release in trying to streamline the learning curve. It's still pretty high, but it gets better and better after every game they release.
There's a ton of text in Monster Hunter Generations, like a lot of talking.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same since like ever since they started localizing the game. But yeah, I think it's a really good entry in the series. There's a lot of villages. Like pretty much all the old villages are back. So you can visit all the old villages. There's a single player component.
I was gonna just say there's also the second new addition they added to Monster Hunter, which is the Prowler mode, which lets you take control of one of your feline
palicos, cats.
Palicos, cats. Which is at first I thought was useless, but then when I actually went out in the field and I was experimenting, I found out that you can mine and farm.
Yeah, farming,
and stuff
farming,
infinitely.
baby.
This is basically farm mode.
Yeah, but to be honest, it's unfair to call it that because once I got them really good armor and weapons, they were also really, really strong.
Yeah.
So don't be fooled by their small stature. They're actually, once you get them good armor, get them a good weapon, they can take down monsters as well.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's a new layer to Monster Hunter that we're not usually used to. It's pretty. It's interesting. I think this is the best Monster Hunter yet. Like at least in terms of content. Because there's a lot of monsters in this game, and there's a lot of variations, and then you get into
I feel like the single player component of Monster Hunter 4 is way better than Monster Hunter Generations.
Oh, okay. Maybe because you've played the single player for this one. I've totally skipped it. I went straight to multiplayer.
No, I played it also.
But the multiplayer aspect of Monster Hunter Generations is superior to 4 just because there's a lot of content. But the single player mode, which is a shame because it's the greatest hits, I feel like
missed opportunity.
Like the writing, it's a huge missed opportunity because the writing just feels lazy. Like you meet all these characters that you've met in previous installments of the games, but they have no value. It's like, oh hey, look, that's the guy from Monster Hunter 3, or
fair enough.
Look, 1 from 2. But they have no substance. It's just superficial. Basically.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I haven't seen much of the single player, to be honest, so I could not I mean, as a multiplayer game, compared to like all the older Monster Hunter games, I still think it's one of the better ones, especially with the new gameplay mechanics that they're introducing. And I don't know, like if they're gonna carry on like moving forward, if they're gonna put in the new mechanics. It's gonna be hard for me to transition back to the older like normal style gameplay of Monster Hunter. Like I want to play Aerial Greatsword in Monster Hunter 5 is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, so I think we'll take a break and we'll be back in a bit. Hey, so we're back again. We're going to be continuing our show with Deus Ex: Human Revolution. I'm going to be briefly talking about my second playthrough of Deus Ex: Human Revolution, since we're getting close to Mankind Divided, which is the new Deus Ex, the sequel to Human Revolution. The last time I played this game was like 5 years ago when it first came out. I played it on PC back then, and now I'm playing the director's cut. To be honest, I couldn't tell much of a difference between both versions. Patrick, if you can... I mean, I think you've played through the Wii U version, am I correct?
Yeah. I actually beat the Wii U version a few months ago.
Great. So, do you know what's different in the director's cut compared to the regular edition?
Yeah, so they in the original edition you didn't have there were boss battles, and a lot of fans didn't enjoy those boss battles because Deus Ex is all about choice and having multiple options on how to complete the mission.
Yep.
And so so what they did was they reworked the bosses so you didn't have to fight the bosses. That there was like a stealth option. They improved textures and lighting, from my understanding.
Because I think I remember it being less yellow than it used to. I mean, I was worried maybe it was just me.
It's less yellow in the director's cut.
Yeah, that's what I noticed.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was me misremembering it or something.
No.
Yeah. So basically, it felt weird going back to a game that controls the way it used to control. Because one of the things that bothered me playing this game again is the control scheme. It's really weird. It's like nothing like the games that we're used to these days.
The original game wasn't good?
No. The control scheme is different. Like here, for example, if you wanted to run, you have to tap the left bumper, like L1, to run.
Okay.
To crouch, you have to press the left stick in. It felt old, because
the game definitely hasn't aged well. Like when I played it, visually it hasn't aged well. Story wise, it's all right.
Story is all right. Visually, it's all right, but you can tell like it's pretty old.
Like it's stiff.
Yeah, it's stiff. Exactly. That's a really good word to describe it. But yeah, other than that, I still enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. I'm trying to prepare myself for Mankind Divided, and I think it'll be a good way to reflect on the changes, like what 5 years of development would feel like when you're making a sequel to a game, like this one. So yeah, it's still playable. Give it a shot. I still hate the boss fights.
Did you not avoid them?
I couldn't avoid them as far as I know. Like it just put me straight into the boss fights. I don't think
Are you sure you were playing the director's cut?
Yeah, pretty much. I think I am. Yeah, because when I launched the game, it says director's cut, and then
are you playing like in a stealth way, or are you playing like all out?
I mix and match, depending on my mood.
Because if you're playing if you're playing in a stealthy way, it's really easy to avoid some of the bosses. There's usually like an extra path that opens up where you have to go like hack something or whatever.
Huh. Maybe I didn't know you could do that, to be honest. But I've been through the boss fights are really like easy. I haven't had trouble beating them.
Yeah, it's not that they're hard.
Yeah.
They're just
it's cumbersome.
Like
they're not fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have nothing much else to say about the game. Patrick, you're gonna run us through your experience with Dishonored.
So I played Dishonored when it first came out in 2012, and it made a huge impact on me, and it quickly became one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
And when the HD definitive edition was announced, I planned on getting it, but I have a huge backlog, so I never ended up getting it until like recently when Dishonored 2 was announced, actually. And I wanted to see how it held up and if it aged well, because like we were discussing earlier, like I had played Deus Ex, and that hadn't really aged that well. So
Nope.
I wanted to see if it was the same thing with Dishonored. And surprisingly or unsurprisingly, I don't know which way you want to put it, it actually aged extremely well, except for some very minor issues. So for those who don't know, Dishonored is a stealth action adventure game with some role-playing elements in it. And so
It's what
like I
Thief
was
is
saying,
supposed to be, the new Thief.
yeah, it's basically influenced by Thief a lot, and it's like the new Thief. And you play an assassin, and you have branching paths during missions, and you can either be really aggressive and kill everyone, or you can be like a silent killer. And if you decide to go on a killing spree, there's negative results, and you start seeing the environments change, and you see a lot more deadly rats, because the environment the game takes place in is
During the
influenced
plague, I
by
think.
like influenced by like the 19th century London or something like that, and there's a plague that's ruining the city.
Yeah.
And it's a plague, a rat plague, basically. So the more people you kill in the game, the more rats you see on the streets, and the rats attack you. They're very aggressive. But if you decide to play in a really smart and stealthy way, you won't see these rats. Like you'll barely run into them. And the game also has multiple endings and all like that kind of stuff. And it holds up extremely well, and I still love it. Like the only issue I have with the game is, and I mean, a lot of stealth games have this issue where you're like sneaking around and there's an enemy right near you, and you can basically get really close and they still won't notice you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like nearly get into their like if it was real life, they should notice you, but because it's a game, you have to like suspend your disbelief and and just get on with it. But I don't remember it being this bad, and I ran into it a few times, and I mean, I'm not complaining, because like I got through some really tricky spots thanks to the AI not recognizing that I was around. But everything else in the game, from the story, the
Whoops. So, yeah. Go.
All right. So we were talking earlier off the air how you were interested in playing Dishonored, and I think you would really, really enjoy it, especially since, I mean, it's aged a lot better than Deus Ex has aged. And like I said, everything about the game is spot on, except for some AI hiccups here and there. Everything else is like near perfect, in my opinion.
Well, I think the problem with Deus Ex is that it didn't age well in certain aspects, like multiple aspects actually, because the way like it handled stealth attacks, making them very limited, because there's no melee button. You could only interact with a certain like NPC depending on how many energy charges you had at the time, and it was very limiting. I think Dishonored is a little bit more lenient compared to that. So I don't know. I think I played the wrong Thief game when it comes to like playing Dishonored or Thief, and I unfortunately played the new Thief. But I think hearing from you that it still holds up very well, and the new one really looks good. I want to make sure I don't miss out on the older Dishonored game.
And the definitive edition comes with the DLC, which, I mean, there's one like very average DLC, but there's two others. I forgot what it was called.
I think one of them was called like
Dunwall. The knife of Dunwall.
Yeah.
The knife of Dunwall. Yeah, is probably the best one, and it's really, really great. I won't say much about it because it actually has something to do with the main story. And I actually somehow had avoided all spoilers when it came to the DLC. So when I started the Knife of Dunwall, I was actually like pleasantly surprised at how like great it was, as story on the story side of things.
All right, that sounds great.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out next. I'm planning to play that pretty soon, after I beat Deus Ex, I suppose, and before. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna like take a break from like after a Human Revolution, play something else before diving. Before diving, yeah, because Mankind Divided is really it's like out next week, so I don't know.
Well, what you could do is play Human Revolution. I mean, beat it.
Yeah.
Play ABZU, beat it. Play Dishonored, beat it. Then play I don't know, Firewatch, beat it. Then play the new Deus Ex.
So it's a very long list.
So basically, like skip on life for a while. Yeah. There's a lot of games, man. A lot of good games to play.
Oh yeah.
So, finally, we have No Man's Sky. I think Patrick is the only one who played it in between us. So, run us down really quick, Patrick.
I really want to hear your thoughts about the game because.
Okay.
Why should we play this game?
Bisho. Yeah. Were you going to say something, Bisho?
No, I'm just waiting.
Interested?
I want. I'm kind of interested for this game, but. I really don't know if I want to play it or not.
Okay. So I've been following No Man's Sky since it was announced, mostly because I'm into space and I'm into exploration games, and exploration games have an easy time of sucking me in particular, and getting me attached to exploration type games because like I enjoy, like that's how I de-stress basically. Like games, like I enjoy games with a strong narrative, but games that, like for instance Minecraft, I used to play a lot of Minecraft just because I just used to enjoy doing random things like mining and then like building a big house or building a small village or whatever. So No Man's Sky is, I mean, it's not Minecraft. It's definitely not Minecraft, but it's an exploration game that lacks depth. But for me personally, that doesn't matter because it does a few things extremely well. Like the fact that you can, I mean, you have your own spaceship, and the fact that you can fly around space and land on any planets with zero loading time is mind-blowing. Like the game only has one loading time, and that's when the game starts. Once the game starts, you can do whatever you want and there is zero loading time. And I've never seen a game do that before. Like when you play Skyrim, when you enter big dungeons or big houses, there tends to be a loading time. When same thing with Fallout and all those kind of open world games, but in No Man's Sky, you fly your spaceship, you find the planet you're interested in, you fly to the planet, you land on it, you enter buildings, zero loading time. So it makes the entire game more streamlined, which is great. The combat in the game is like kind of weak at first, but it gets better when you get better weapons. But it's still not, I wouldn't recommend this game if you're looking for a shooter. Space combat, same thing. When you have your first spaceship, it's pretty crap. But when you buy a better spaceship and you upgrade the weapons and stuff, space combat can be a lot of fun. Exploring planets. So, and something else that, I mean, some people might not know if you're not following the progress of the game. All the planets in the game are randomly generated. So there's 18 quintillion planets in the game, which is like a humongous number. And
Crazy
every
number.
yeah, and every planet is different from one another. So you'll never find the same planet twice. But things, I mean, from planet to planet, some things stay the same. Some things change. Like you might have two planets with just minor changes, like just a change of color, you know. But then you might find a planet that's just all water with some land, and that's like very beautiful to look at. It's a very relaxing game. It's very laid back. There isn't a lot of depth to it. There is a story to it, but it's not going to win any awards. It's just there to supplement the exploration. And yeah, I mean, it's for me personally, I love it, but I wouldn't recommend it for everyone.
I like exploration, but I don't like space that much. There are just very little games that I liked about them. Most of the time I prefer exploration over space. So does the space affect the game so much? Is it like very like
the space is how you travel? That's
just a place to travel from planet to planet.
Yeah, like if you don't want to engage in space combat, you don't have to. You can easily fly away from enemies. But if you end up killing the enemies, you tend to get better treasure and better loot. But it's not something. But it's not something that they force you to do.
It's handled as a backdrop to a survival game. Think of it that way.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not a game that's going to get a lot of good reviews, and that's been obvious. I mean, like the game's been out for, I think, is this the second week or is it?
No.
I don't even know if it's.
It was out this week. Still the first week. It was out like last week. It's barely a week old by the time we've been recording. So maybe when the episode is out, it's been a week already on PS4. It was out on PC on Friday, and it's already got data mined.
So the reviews, it's not going to get amazing reviews, but like it's not going to ruin the enjoyment for me, you know, like because the game does so many things that I enjoy so well. It's one of those games where I'm not even checking reviews because I just don't care, you know. When people complain about it online, like I tweeted about this the other day, like people will complain about its flaws and whatever, and my reaction is usually like yeah, you have a point, but I still love it, you know?
Yeah,
like,
I mean it's a game that speaks to your sensibilities in a sense that, okay, you can just sit down, have fun, regardless of like whatever criticism it has. It's made for your sensibilities. This is why I'm a little bit worried that if I drop in the $60, I'm just gonna end up playing like a few hours and then just never visit it again, because I don't really usually play survival games. Like
I don't play
that kind of
either,
survival games, you know.
Yeah, like the only survival game I've ever really played is, and you won't even call it survival, is Minecraft.
Yeah, like, I never even played I never cared for Minecraft. So
but I mean, let me put it this way. Like so people. I mean, you know me, but so people have a better idea of the kind of games I play. Like for example, Skyrim.
Yeah,
I put nearly 300 hours into Skyrim, but the majority of that time was spent wandering around and exploring. I did quests here and there, but I never I played nearly 300 hours, and I never beat the game. You know?
Yeah.
Fallout 3, I put nearly 600 hours into the game, and I did beat the game. I did everything in Fallout 3, but it took me 600 hours because I was just exploring. Same thing with Fallout 4, and so on and so forth. Like I'm the kind of gamer that if you give me a world to explore that looks nice, that has some mysteries, it doesn't even need to be it doesn't need to have incredible depth. Just give me something mysterious, something that looks strange. I'm sucked in,
Yeah. I think technically this game, really quick, Bishu, I think technically this game is a really good testament to what a 12-man team can do with a
15.
I think they're 12. they became 15 now. I don't know.
Yeah,
Because
it doesn't
I used to
matter.
hearing they're a small group anyways for a game like
they're
this
small.
huge.
Like, yeah, the fact that they're 15 or 12, like the fact that they're a tiny team, and I think people forget about this. Like they don't realize they're a tiny team, and they built this game that has such incredible potential that like AAA publishers would have difficulty making a game like this and making it like enjoyable.
The smart thing about this, like game development wise, is how they managed to write the algorithms that would, generate all this content on your screen, because everything is voxel based. And if you watch Digital Foundry's videos, like one of the recent videos is how they explained the game was made using voxels and how their algorithm uses like a very limited amount of assets in their engine which they built from the ground up, and with their algorithms generate an entire galaxy worth of content. So it's pretty cool. It's really, really, really smart, and a testament to what they've like achieved in making a game this huge with a very small team. But yeah, I mean, I'll be following the game for like the next few months and see how it evolves and see how they update it, because I think they're going to treat the game as a service. They're going to continue adding stuff to the game, I bet.
I really hope so, because like I was saying, and sorry, Bisho, I know you were going to say something, but like
it's okay. Don't worry.
I want to just add real quick, like as I was saying, like the game has a lot of potential, and they said they when they released the day one patch notes, they mentioned like the next big patch is going to include base building, and you're going to end up being able to own freighters, which is like huge spaceships.
Yeah.
So if they continue to add more stuff to the game, like I can see myself playing this game for years to come. Me personally, like what I want them to add is more customization options. Like I want to customize my spaceship. Like it's cool that we can buy spaceships, and there's a variety of cool spaceships you can buy, but the fact that I can't make it my own, and I can't change the color of it or add stickers or decals and stuff like that, like it's a bummer. But like I'm hooked,
Nothing a patch can't fix, Patrick.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So what were you going to say, Bisho?
I just want to ask a question about the length of the game. It's very important to me that the game has an ending, because I always want to play something new. I don't want to stick for a game for a very long time, unless there is like a very good reason to play it that long. Okay. So games like Overwatch, Minecraft, I know they are good games, but I don't want to like waste too much time in one game, because I love always trying new things.
Stuff.
Always, all the time. So does this game has an ending? If I play it,
does it have a defined goal, like end goal that you're willing to sink in? Like hours of your time to achieve?
I mean, the point of the game, the point of the game is to get to the middle of the universe, and when you're on the map where it shows you like all the galaxies you can go to, there's actually a tab that you can select that shows you the quickest path to the center of the universe, and that's if you want to play the story. Like if you want to do the story mode, like they have a set path for you. So yeah, I mean, like the guy who bought the game before it was released and before it was patched, which apparently changed a lot. But I mean, he ended up beating the game in 30 hours. So I'm gonna guesstimate and say the game is gonna take about like that long if you want to just go to the center of the universe. But to be honest, if I wouldn't recommend this game if that's what you want to do. To be honest, like,
but I feel the exploration in this game is so much fun.
It is. It is fun. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I feel like everyone should experience this game, but I don't want you to buy the game thinking that it has an interesting enough story for you to like, you know, play it just for the story, you know?
Yeah,
Like the strength of the game is exploration.
More
Story
than
is like the
something
story is
very-
like the
very
backseat.
side. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
to be clear, there's no multiplayer in this game, right?
Well, that's the mystery. Like the Sean Murray, the creator of the game, he's not really giving a straight answer.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not being marketed as a multiplayer game at all.
No, at all. But he said before release that if two players were on the same planet, then they'd be able to see each other, but you can't play with friends like co-op or whatever. So it's not marketed as a co-op game or an online game. But I have a feeling, and I don't know why I have a feeling, that that they're working on it. That's the feeling I have.
That's why they're not talking about it.
I don't know, because if you look at his Twitter feed, he's always vague about it, and he's not usually that vague. Like he's usually like a very like he gives good answers, you know. But when it comes to multiplayer, he's like dodging the question like so well.
I think it's because they have a realistic like expectation
they're
of how
only
the servers
small
are gonna,
teams,
you know,
though.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
factors that determine like that govern this feature. Like, okay, what about server load? How are we gonna deal with that? What kind of
I think
how do
that's-
we
yeah,
how
I
do we
think-
make our algorithms work in real time so that it would sync two players, if not more, at the same instance in the same time? Because the way the game is programmed is really, 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 really weird. Like, I don't know if it's actually possible to have proper multiplayer the way the algorithms work. So I wouldn't
Yeah,
blame him
I
for
mean-
trying to dodge a question like that, because I think they want to do it, but there are so many hurdles that they need to, like, technically pass, like, jump over in order for them to properly implement multiplayer in the traditional sense that we are used to as gamers, you know. I think
Yeah.
it makes sense for them at the current state to do something that's asymmetric multiplayer. But traditional multiplayer, I think, is going to take a while until they figure it out. Unless
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
they surprise us and they release like a patch and okay, there we go, you can go meet each other now. But I think it's going to be a while the way the game is designed.
Yeah, I mean, like just a few days ago, like news came out that No Man's Sky had the most successful Steam launch of 2016, and like it had like over 250,000 players. Like that's the peak number of players.
Yeah, but then again,
playing the game at the same time.
Then again, the PC version is busted, you know, because there's a lot of things that they need to like clear up before they start implementing things like multiplayer a bit. But the thing is,
I mean, the next patch they're releasing is basically fixing bugs. Like that's already been stated. Like
yes,
which is cool. Like they're taking care of the important stuff first.
But I think like there's a weird thing with this game that the people's perception of what No Man's Sky is completely different than what the developer intends you to think of. Because people are like, I imagine like there are communities of people who have their ideal version of No Man's Sky in their imagination that they really wish that the actual product was that, you know. And then there's the developer that's trying to message like really vaguely, but at the same time, like put out a message about what their game is actually like, and people are in denial like they're in denial of what they got as an end product compared to what they imagined the game would be. So
yeah, not even that. Like so many people had their own idea of what this game was even before the game. I mean, when the game was first announced, like, and the thing is, it wasn't like the studio was confusing like the messaging. Like I personally think that they did a pretty good job at sending out what the game, like sending out a message of what the game is about. But people, like some people just, you know, like took that message and twisted it into what they wanted, like you were saying, which sucks because like they've been receiving like I've been following this like closely, and they've been receiving a ton of like hate, and Sean Murray has been called a liar and like all other nasty stuff.
This is super silly, to be honest. Like,
it's
I don't
so
know
unfounded.
why I don't know why like people are like this. The developer intends to make a game the way they imagine, like the way they imagined it. I mean, it's hype is one thing that could really, really destroy your game, but in the same time, it's always good for like us as consumers to have like realistic expectations. You take the words like for granted. Like, okay, Sean Murray said there's going to be multiplayer. The game releases without multiplayer. Okay, ask yourself why. I mean, you're not a game developer. At least understand from their perspective, there could have been some hurdles that they had to overcome in order for them to implement a game the way it was technically designed. And I think people lack this understanding, and they just jump straight to hate mail, and they jump straight to death threats, which is incredibly childish. And I don't know.
It's so damn stupid. Like come on, like grow up. Like I hate this notion that, like, I hate seeing these gamers think they're entitled and that they have the right to act this way just because just because they own the game or something. Okay, no one. First of all, no one forced you to buy the game. Maybe you should have researched it before buying the game, or waited and not pre-ordered. Waited to see the reactions of journalists and other people. But like you bought the game. It's your fault if you thought the game was something else. Don't take it out on this developer who's been busting his butt, like working late nights and 24 hours, 7 days a week to put out this game that was his dream, and successfully, like they did a pretty like decent job. It's just ridiculous to think that way.
I think people are entitled to voice their opinions, but I think the way they approach it is key. Like, okay, if you have concerns about a game and you paid the $60 for a game that apparently was not like up to your expectations, okay, fine, you can voice your opinion. Just don't issue death threats. There's a certain line that you want to just not step over, because it's really, really ridiculous how like the communities, gaming communities can react to certain things that they don't like towards people who are, as you just said, busting their butts trying to ship a product that is super time consuming for them to like create and make, and sadly seeing a reaction like this and how like detrimental it is to the game's success. I don't know. I really feel sad for the developer. Like, okay, I feel good for them, like for launching a game like this ambitious, but also sad for like the kind of crap that they've been getting from alleged fans.
Yeah, and I mean, like, okay, what I meant was about entitlement is like you're entitled to your opinion, but you're not like the developer doesn't need to listen to you, and just because you feel like something needs to be in a game doesn't mean the developer has to do that. You're just entitled to your opinion.
No. Yeah,
but
exactly.
Some people, but some people take it to the next level, and it's just like, it's trash. It's trash.
Anyways, I think No Man's Sky is still an interesting game. I'll be closely like seeing how they update it. And I hope like they put in this hook that'll lure me into buying this game like sometime soon, because I think it's pretty cool and has some potential, but I still don't know if it's my cup of tea unless I try it myself. I think it's one of those games that you shouldn't dismiss, but you should know if it'll
Like you
it'll
should know
be-
what you're getting into.
Yeah, you should know what you're getting into, and you should have had a feel of what kind of game, like what kind of genre this is from previous games of that came like that are similar to this. You know,
Yeah.
I tried Minecraft before, and based on my experience with Minecraft, I'm a little bit like cautious about getting No Man's Sky like right out of the gate.
I mean,
So I'm not making a
it's- yeah,
comparison,
like-
but it's
Yeah.
around the same ballpark.
Yeah. And I just want to say real quick, like another aspect of No Man's Sky that I really enjoyed. Crap! I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. Let's get going.
All right, so let's move on to quick
News real
news
quick.
and a little quick discussion about
I mean,
the
it's not
Nintendo
even-
NX.
Yeah, it's not even news right now, but we're just gonna throw in our opinions.
Yeah, sure. So we have Final Fantasy 15. We have Final Fantasy 15 being delayed 2 months, which I am so happy it is happening.
Yeah.
I think Hajime Tabata's video was incredibly respectful. Like Tabata is the producer of the game, and
Yeah.
he released a video. I mean, Square Enix released a video recording of him basically apologizing for the delay and the reason for the delay. Basically, they wanted to include the day one patch in the retail disc, and it, of course, they already have the Gold Master that they need to reprint again in order for them to
Yeah.
include the day one patch into the game, because some people don't have internet and we want them to have the best experience, the best quality game that we're going to ship, and I think I can respect that.
Yeah, just real quick, I want to add to that. Like I understand it was respectful, like that he came out and he said those things, and a lot of people on Twitter and even on Reddit where I browse, everyone was like, yeah, it's cool that like a company is doing that, it's great. And
Square never
I
does
think-
that. Like they never did that
Yeah.
before.
But look, I think it's ridiculous that we're praising them for doing this, because this is something they should have already been doing anyways. Like I hate this practice, and I'm not targeting Square only. Like they're not the only that developer that does this, but like I hate this new practice that we have right now ever since the PS4 and the Xbox One were released, where nearly every new game has a day one patch. Like it's ridiculous. Like just finish your game and publish it when it's done. Like so what if you have delays? Like delay a game, like get it done, and it's better than having a day one patch.
See, the problem here is that the it's not the developer. Sometimes the developer doesn't have control over this.
But-
It's the stakeholders.
Yeah.
This is the problem.
Yeah, but like I don't really buy that either, because I mean in the previous generation, like we didn't have this issue either. Like
because it
this
wasn't a
is
solution. That it wasn't a viable solution.
Yeah, it wasn't a
time.
viable solution, but it's like too many developers and publishers are relying on this day one patch, and it's a stupid practice. And like, okay, I'm glad that Square Enix are taking the time to, they're delaying the game so they could include the patch in the retail disc, but we shouldn't praise them for it. It's their job. This is something they should have already been doing anyways.
Of course,
And,
of course.
Like, okay, like hats off to them and to the stockholders and whatever for taking this decision, but I'm like personally going to refrain from praising them.
It's fair. It's a fair point. I think the idea that Square Enix, which is a company that usually are very quiet and they don't communicate very well, they haven't been this vocal in a very, very, very long time, and I think they started to become more transparent with their messaging ever since Final Fantasy 14 bombed initially, and
Yeah,
I think that was a learning. Yeah, that was a learning experience for them, and
yeah, and I mean they need to be vocal for this, because, like, I mean they're like, I feel like Final Fantasy 15 is make it or break it for them. Like they need this to succeed, and for them, like there's so much hype behind the game, and for them to like for them to like for the game to do well, they need to be transparent. They need to be honest with the customer and the consumers, and I'm glad they are. I mean, I won't praise them for it, but I'm glad that they came out and they gave us a reason for it. You know?
Yeah. Again, game's going to be out on the 29th of November. I hope it's going to end up being a great game. In other news,
I really want to play it very fast.
yeah,
Yeah. Quick question, Yaqoub.
yeah, shoot.
What would you say if I told you a year from now you can play Monster Hunter on your big screen TV with HD graphics?
I love the segue, Patrick. You asked a very, 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 very attractive question here, my friend. So basically, we're going to talk about the Nintendo NX. If I could play Monster Hunter in HD on the go and then transition really quickly to a living room setup, I would be in heaven. Okay, I've had this experience before on the Wii U playing Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, but it's not as streamlined as I wished it would be. So, let's talk about the NX. We're not going to dabble too deep into this, but the rumors of what we already know so far from the Nintendo NX. It's going to be a hybrid device running on a ARM processor. Basically, it's going to be based on the Tegra X1 chip that is currently being manufactured for the NVIDIA Shield console.
And just to clarify, this is a rumor, but
these are rumors, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But I mean they've been reported by Eurogamer, and their sources seem to be solid every time they post any rumors. So they were also being echoed by other outlets, so it seems to be pretty legit. But the Tegra X1 or a variant of the Tegra X1 that Nintendo is that they're making for NVIDIA is making for Nintendo. Apparently, it might have a detachable controller. When you're docking it on a docking station, connecting it to the TV. And then you're gonna basically be able to take the console on the go, and it's gonna have local multiplayer on the go. This is gonna be something that they're gonna be marketing the device with, and I think it's interesting to see their console and portable with converging into this one hybrid thing, and making good use of their strengths as a portable, a company that makes a portable, really good portable console, like a portable device, like the DS was, and then again, mixing it up with the power of what is expected out of a console. Maybe not in the standards of a PlayStation or an Xbox, but good enough to give you the best of both worlds. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I heard people complaining that the NX won't be as powerful as the PS4 and the Xbox One, and honestly, when it comes to Nintendo consoles, I really don't care when it comes to power, because Nintendo has shown time and time again that they can take a weak system and make amazing stuff with the power that they have, you know. Look at Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on the Wii. It looked like a great game, even though the Wii was pretty weak, you know. And
I think it's mostly their art styles. They know how to wiggle around hardware issues. Hardware performance.
Yeah, it's their art direction. They're just really good at that. And other people are saying the NX, might not encourage third-party developers, to come back to Nintendo. And honestly, people need to wake up. No matter what Nintendo does, third-party developers aren't going to be publishing games left and right for Nintendo anymore.
hear me out. Hear me out
Yeah.
a second.
Yeah.
I think, like, this is a very far-fetched like guess here, but okay. I believe the NX is going to be a proper like successor to the DS more than being a successor to a home console.
Yeah,
And,
that makes
like,
sense. Yeah.
if this is the way they're going to target the console, like that they're going to target the NX like as a device, I think third-party developers that are used to making portable games, like games that are like they think like design-wise are portable, they can easily like still gain interest in making these kind of games for the NX and still make it relevant for the console, you know, for the device
Yeah.
itself. Because
Yeah.
you'll have Capcom making their Monster Hunter games, their Ace Attorney games, their, you know, you have Nintendo making their Animal Crossing games, and it'll all make sense with this device because
Oh yeah, but I mean, like,
it's still a portable as well, you know.
Yeah. What I meant is, like, you're never gonna see Destiny on a Nintendo console.
No.
You're never gonna see like a Call of Duty, like a full-on Call of Duty on a Nintendo console. You know.
And I believe this is fine because I don't think that there necessarily has to be a third player in the like the high end console market, because two is already more than enough in my opinion. But I think the way Nintendo have it is like, okay, we're gonna have something super unique as usual, and then we're gonna try to double down on both portable and console because our hardware can properly support it now.
Yeah, and I mean, another reason why they don't need third-party developers is the fact that Nintendo themselves have so many studios underneath them. So imagine, instead of the studios trying to develop games for two Nintendo consoles, the 3DS and the Wii U, you're going to have all these Nintendo studios developing games for just one console.
Exactly.
So
it'll be a very good way to like spend your resources.
Yeah, and I won't be surprised to see that like you'd have a steady stream of games coming out throughout the year. And I'm not going to be surprised if the launch for the NX is impressive, you know, like I'm sure they'll have, I mean, they're going to have Zelda for sure. They should, like, my dream launch for the NX would include Zelda, Super Mario, and one other big title. I don't know, maybe like an HD Monster Hunter. If they release those three games as a launch, as part of their launch lineup, I think the NX would do really well at launch, especially in Japan. You know,
I think this is somewhat realistic because we have Nintendo EAD. I think that's the studio that's working on the Super Mario Galaxy, the Galaxy team, basically.
Yeah.
So Galaxy team is definitely working on something, and I'm hoping that they're holding it off for the NX, and maybe maybe like within 6 months or like release window they would actually have a Mario game out, and that would really help with their launch.
There's not going to be another major Nintendo release on the Wii U until like Zelda. Like I highly doubt they're going to announce another thing. And and one more thing, like something else I've heard on Twitter and like some other websites, like Retro Studios has been quiet for some time now. Like the last game they released was Donkey Kong Frozen what was it? Frozen
Tropical Freeze.
Yeah, Tropical Freeze. That was the last game they released. Ever since then, they've been pretty quiet. People expected them to announce something at E3, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So, up until recently, though, like I saw a tweet that was a rumor from a reliable source that said that they might be working on a new Kid Icarus game. So if that's the case, I mean, Kid Icarus game developed by Retro Studios might turn out to be really interesting, especially since like their previous games that they worked on, like minus Donkey Kong, like Metroid Prime like was a whole new direction for the Metroid series. So if they were able to do that with Metroid, I'm really curious to see what they would do with Kid Icarus, because the last Kid Icarus game on the 3DS was like really fun and enjoyable, but the controls weren't that great because you were forced to hold the 3DS at a really at a awkward position, and like it just wasn't fun to play because of the controls. So if these rumors are true and Retro Studios' next game is Kid Icarus, it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do with the NX, if it's an NX title, which I mean I'm guessing it would be.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be an interesting launch.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna like divert most of their efforts to increasing their launch library. And yeah, I hope they nail it also in the network end. Network end is going to be really important for them to get right.
Yeah, I mean, so far, like Splatoon has network-wise, Splatoon's doing really well, and it's still doing really well. I mean, Nintendo, I feel like they'll improve. They won't improve drastically, but I don't think it'll be a step back. Like it'll be a good improvement.
I sure hope so.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll find out more in September. They're supposed to say some. I don't know if they're revealing the NX in September, but there's supposed to be some big news.
Yeah, they're supposed to. I think they're supposed to reveal it in September because September is. Here's the thing: Tokyo Game Show is going to be in mid-September. I think on the 15th till the 18th, and then there's going to be all the press, like international press, is going to be in Japan at the time. So I think if they're going to set up specific like booths, or if they're going to have some hands-on time, or they're going to give people some hands-on time in Japan, this is the time where they can actually send press invites and you guys can come out and check out the NX. Of course, they're going to have to put out the direct before it, or maybe they decide to resurrect something like Space World. I don't know, but it's an opportunity for the press to actually have some hands-on with the hardware, assuming they have a working prototype or a working dev kit that they can actually preview or have press show the press in order to give the impressions to the consumers who are probably like holding off on buying maybe the Scorpio or the PlayStation Neo just for a brand new experience, Who knows? It's not like we're gonna be waiting for an awful long time before we actually see what the NX truly is. And I think like if they nail this, if they properly market this, if they properly explain what it is, and not have like the confusion that was associated with the Wii U when it came out, I think they might actually have a really, really solid piece of hardware that they can really popularize among the people who are into console stuff and people who are into portable,
like the casuals.
The casuals.
And I mean, I was gonna say, like, one other feature which I feel the NX needs and requires, and which I feel would help Nintendo a lot, is some sort of ability to connect to phones, like. Not directly connect to phones, but like, for instance, right now they're supposedly working on Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing for smartphones.
There's going to be an next version, probably,
Yeah, so imagine playing Animal Crossing on your phone. Whatever, I highly doubt they'd release a fully fleshed out Animal Crossing on the phone. So whatever they release, but imagine connecting your phone to the NX and being able to communicate with Animal Crossing on the NX and Animal Crossing on your smartphone. Like, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah. So I feel like that's something, and it's not something that Nintendo's never done before. I mean, the GameCube had some kind of connectivity with the Game Boy Advance, and before that, the Game Boy Color had like some sort of connectivity with or wait, no, it was just the GameCube and the.
It was the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance, yeah. But I understand your point. This also has to have like a good network backend as well to support this kind of thing. And I think like their deal with DNA is hopefully
It's part of
gonna
that, I think,
it's
yeah.
part of that. It is actually part of that because they're doing their new network like back end, and I think they have that in mind. Like every time they mention the NX with their whatchamacallit, in their conference calls that they make with the stakeholders, like they always mention their network. Their DNA is working on this, DNA is working on that. We're working on an account system. We're hopefully gonna have this and this integrated together so that every single device that we work on communicates in some shape or form. So I think it's really interesting what they're gonna have with the NX, and I hope like it's the kind of device that I've been thinking, like I've been imagining the whole time, like okay, if I can just play Monster Hunter anywhere and it'll look good on the go and it'll still look good on TV, and like there's minimal setup that I need to do in order for me to like take my experience from a portable experience to a home entertainment, home console experience, and it would be seamless and really cool. I can't wait to see what it is if it's anywhere close to that. And I think like the Tegra X1 or whatever next gen chip they're gonna make for the NX is, I mean, it's proven to look good, like to give really like decent visuals, and for portability and the kind of visuals this chipset can give you, I think it's like more than enough. It's sufficient for what it is, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what it is.
I'm so scared for this console because usually Nintendo, I built up like a bad history about Nintendo, and I still can't believe that this one will be like the rumors said. I think there are some like negative things in the rumors, but they are still not talking about it, or they don't know about it. Like when we talked in our Arabic podcast about how powerful is the machine, what the size of the machine, how much the battery will
last
while playing. There are so many questions unanswered that will make so much difference in the decision for other people. I know I'm going to buy it, whatever the console is, because I love Nintendo games, but I'm talking about the general user, the general gamer who wants to try a new thing. Maybe I hope it will be powerful as they say, but without so many negative things that makes it.
Yeah, for example, if it's a portable that I can't put in my pocket, it's going to be a little bit tricky to carry around, It's like, okay, we're used to the general idea of like, okay, I'm going to take a laptop with me, a gaming laptop, so I'm going to definitely put it in a bag and walk around with it. But if it's something that's supposed to replace a traditional portable in a sense like what the DS and what the Game Boy was like, then I don't think this is going to target that same audience in that case,
Yeah, like look, Nintendo has a good reputation in terms of the design of their portables. Like I when it comes to their philosophy, like from my understanding, they're not going to release a portable that doesn't fit in your pocket. They're not going to release a portable that kids can't use, because at the end of the day, like they want to target everyone, but they also want to target the youth. And if the NX is like a weird like sized gadget that wouldn't fit in your pocket, then it's not going to fit in a kid's hands. It's not going to fit in like a 7-year-old's hands or 8-year-old's hands.
That's very true.
Yeah. So I mean, like at the end of the day, it's all rumors. It's all speculation.
Of course,
Yeah.
No one knows.
It's fun. It's fun to like speculate.
Yeah.
On top of like alleged, legit
and it makes
information.
Yeah. It all this is just making me get excited. But like, then you see those mock-ups of like what people think the NX is, and it's like it just looks ridiculous because you can draw 100 mock-ups, and I guarantee you it's nothing like what Nintendo has planned.
It's usually like this. People usually draw
it's fun.
many different things.
It's part of the fun. Yeah. I mean, like if you look at the mock-ups and then you like see which one got it the closest, It's incredibly interesting to be like, okay, I don't know, like every 5 years, Nintendo has to come up with something weird, and I think this time I have a feeling like I'm optimistic. Like I'm unusually optimistic about the NX compared to like previous things that previous devices that Nintendo have been releasing in the past. I don't know why, but I have a good feeling that this one is gonna it's gonna be special. So yeah, September, man, it's not gonna be a long wait.
Yeah.
Maybe like same time today, like same day next month.
Yeah.
We might know what it is. So yeah, fingers
Hopefully.
crossed.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I guess this will round up the podcast for today. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it. So you guys can find us on www.luckygg.com and 248am.com. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes. If you're on an Android device, you're using a podcatcher app like Pocket Cast, you can also search for us there. We'll be also uploading a video version of this episode.
I hope so. This is our first try. I
it's
hope
our
we
first.
don't get any. Yeah.
We're hoping to release. I'll rephrase. We're hoping to release a video version of this episode on YouTube. You can find us at youtube.com/LuckyGenGamers. And for Patrick and Bishu, I'm your host Yaqoub, and see you next time.
Good night.
Bye.
This. واحد 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 تيست واحد ثلاثة تيست